find out life's this game of inches. So is football. Because in either game, life or football, the margin for error is so small. I mean, one half a step too late or too early, and you don't quite make it. 1/2 second too slow, too fast, you don't quite catch it. The inches we need are everywhere around us.
Welcome, folks, back. We are here again. It's time for a recap, joined by none other than King Cash himself.
Hey, thank you, Josh. Appreciate you, man. And dude, you are doing the best commissioner job of all time. Like, I've been in a lot of these leagues, and this is the most compelling one. It's all the extra shit you do, the recaps, the videos. You're the fucking man for that. Thank you.
Thanks, buddy. Appreciate it. We're just out to make sure everybody has a good time and has something to look forward to every week.
Exactly.
All right. Well, I appreciate you joining me. It's always more fun to have someone else on the other end of these conversations.
Yeah, of course, man. I'm here. I'm here for it. Like, what are you gonna do? Get Aaron? Fucking Aaron? That tool? Idiot.
He's tried it, man. He's been on here. We've had a few of them on here. Aaron, Don, Craig.
Yeah.
Everybody's taking their turn. So
I like it. I like it. Gibbs Aaron's like, man, what are those rectangles behind Cash? It's like, they're fucking books, Aaron. Like, pick one up.
he was probably thinking they were DVDs. They just looked different.
Oh, this is good. This is going well. My edible's hitting earlier than expected. Oh,
there you go, right on cue. All right, well, we're going to jump into a week 5 recap here. So last week we did a quarterly report since we hadn't done anything over the first 4 weeks, but this time we only got 1 week to go through, and it was a fun one. I was stressing. There's a lot of close matchups. It was a wild time.
Dude, high scores too, right? Like, This was a high scoring week. I mean, I didn't participate in any of that upside, but like everybody else seemed to go nuts. They went off.
Yeah, it's got the little color coding. So if your team scores more than projected, it's green. If they score less, it's red. If somehow you got exactly the right amount, it would stay gray. And like 9 out of the 10 teams were green. So it was
yeah, I don't believe that I was.
I'm not sure. Brody didn't have a good week either. We'll talk about him here in a minute.
This team is terrible.
Nice, a rough go, man.
But holy, who drafted for him?
I fucking did. Yeah, that's right.
Shit.
And he was pretty happy with his team too. I mean, it looked good on paper, but a couple of injuries and things haven't quite gone the way as expected.
Poor bastard, man. I hope he gets one. Not against me, but like at some point.
Yeah. That's right. Yeah.
So what do you want to do the recap here, partner? Like, I got this. I'm looking at it. It's super premium as per usual.
Yeah, no, let's so instead of I had standings initially, but let's go there in a sec. Let's start with the matchups from last week and how everything went. So
wicked.
We'll go one by one. We'll start at mine first. So, I mean, things were looking pretty interesting. We started on Thursday. Jay had Mike Evans go ham. Kate Otten didn't do too much. And my kicker, man, first he's missing field goals. Then he's hitting game winners, going overtime. Like, it was too much, but he did all right. Excuse me. And then come out with a bang on Sunday. Nico Collins goes for 67 yards and a tutty. And then he pulls up with a hamstring and he's done for the day. And I got Kyler on the bench and I was stressed, man. I was like, oh my goodness. Fortunately, my defense helped bail me out, and Fields did just enough to put me over the top that Olave shit the bed and Butker couldn't come through. But it was a tight week.
Bitching, yeah, Fields. Like, guys, how many of these games are you watching? Like, are you tuning in kind of sporadically? Like, what does your ritual look like around that?
Every Thursday, Sunday night, Monday nighter, I'm watching most of. Unless it's a shit game and I have no fantasy implications, I'll go to bed at halftime sometimes. Yeah. And I got DAZN or DAZN, whatever the fuck you call it. Mm-hmm. So I can watch the rest of the game the next day if I missed part of it or went to bed early.
Sick.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I'll do that sometimes.
Shout out to our biggest sponsor, DAZN, the presenting sponsor, DAZN.
That's right. Official sponsor of the Gibson Fantasy Football Podcast. Yeah. Otherwise, Sunday it's red zone most of the day, just catching an eye on everything that's going on.
Yeah, I kind of get that. Kids running around and all that. That's got to be handful.
Yeah. So red zone channel, catch all the tutties that happen, and sometimes I'll watch just an individual game if there's a really good one on.
Yeah, beauty. Yeah, that was a dope matchup. Aaron, Dawn. I wanted to bet on that game. Didn't have any implications, and I'm glad I didn't because Dawn smoked Sister Aaron. 133.66 to 107.86. It really sucked.
It was a beatdown. Yeah. It was not close. I think it was the largest gap of the week, actually. Yeah, it was. So like 26 points, basically.
Yeah, like Gib, that's a lot.
Yeah. So not ideal for Aaron, but Dawn was certainly feeling pretty good about herself.
Oh, I'll bet. Absolutely, man. That's reign supreme of the Gibson sisters.
And then we had the other Gibson win the heavyweight matchup of the week between Justin and Krager, who were both sitting at 3-1, or Justin and Krager, who were both sitting at 3-1. And that was a battle, man. And I remember Krager dropping a little nugget in the chat there about being champ of the week and crushing it at 2:30, 3 o'clock in the whatever it was in the afternoon, and he was feeling good.
I get it though, because when you're looking at the projected number and it just keeps pumping up, it's like that euphoria that you just ride up alongside it.
That's right.
I know. I get like
my
that
team's
too.
Unstoppable.
Man, fully.
He started out so hot, and then Jaden Daniels just started throwing touchdowns. Joe Burrow was like, "Hey, Jamar Chase, just go to the end zone. Hey, Jamar Chase, just go to the end zone." And fucking off he went for 100-something yards and 2 tutties. And his he's playing a backup tight end in Isaiah Likely for the Ravens. He catches 2 touchdowns. He's got a backup running back in for the Bengals, Chase Brown. Zach Moss gets hurt. Chase Brown goes off for 15, 20 points. Justin's team was just unstoppable.
Sicko stuff. Man.
Yeah. It was all the stars just aligned for him, and it was he would have taken everybody out.
Yeah, you suck, Craig.
Anaki stayed undefeated there with a win over Brody, who really didn't put up much of a fight, unfortunately.
No, that was a bit of a blowout there. I was feeling bad because Anaki, fuck you. And I was really pulling for Brody. Not knowing anything about Brody, I love him way more than Anaki Ataki.
That's right.
Who is Akane? Who is this guy?
Oh, Devon Achan.
Achan. Who is this guy?
He's an absolute dynamic runner for the Dolphins. He's a running back, but he's been just having a tough go since Tua got hurt, and then he left the game with a concussion.
Damn. Yeah, his name's been everywhere.
Oh yeah. No, he's a great player, but he's shit when the Dolphins offense is this bad right now. There's not much he can do. And then last but not least, Cash, man, you and Ryan just seesaw back and forth all week there, man, all Sunday.
It was as close of a matchup as I've ever had. And there were so many times when I'd be up by a little bit. And I'd be like, you know what? It's still basically 50-50. I should try and pull Ryan into some type of stupid bet. And I'm glad that I didn't. This is it. The bets I'm not making, I would have lost anyways. I just need to stay in my lane, only make the bets that I'm super sure of. You know what I'm saying? And how, Craig Gibson with the photograph changes and the whole thing every time he changes his name. This guy's all time. He might be MVP of the league just based on that metric at this point.
Dude, the pegging photo was too much though. I couldn't deal with it. Every time I'd go to his team, I'm like, oh, Jesus Christ.
No, Craig. I know. I had to make the team names different just so we could stay away from that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, Lamar, that guy crushed it for me. I am so glad I drafted him second too. Like I took
Dude.
Mahomes first. My goal was to lock up two sicko quarterbacks and then trade one of them. So I am fielding offers. If you make me a reasonable offer for either one of my quarterbacks, I'm listening. Mahomes is going to come back. He's going to start slaying. Like I'm very much listening. I would like a wide receiver.
Okay. There you go. The league knows now. I might take interest. I do love Lamar. All right. So let's see where we're at now. So we got 5 weeks in the books. I squeaked out a win to stay undefeated. Naki stayed undefeated thanks to Brody's ineptitude. Justin dominated with the score to go to 4-1. Krager drops to 3-2 with the unfortunate loss to Justin. Despite your loss, you remain in 5th place because you've got a ton of points. So you got the tiebreaker over Ryan and Don. Ryan has moved into the 6th spot, which would technically get him into the playoffs as of this moment. Don's right there at 2-3. Jay's dropped all the way to 1-4. Aaron 1-5, and well, Brody's still bringing up the rear with no W's.
Yeah, that's a tough look. You know what, though? A lot of season left. We don't know what's going to happen. Josh, when do you play against the Naki, or have you? You couldn't have already. When do you play against the Naki?
Week 8, buddy. We were joking about that. We're like, if we're both 7-0, that would be a crazy matchup.
For sure. Like, I can't wait to watch that one go down.
Yeah.
I don't know even who I'm playing next week. I'm sure their team's going to spank mine anyways, the way I'm going.
Well, we'll talk about it in a minute here.
2. Yeah.
But you might be all right. We'll see. So we talked about it already. Justin had the highest score of the week, which is the second time. So he's the first player to repeat as the champ of the week. Shout out to him. Brody had the low score of the week, so he joins the low score club, which is Jay, Ryan, Don, and Aaron and Brody. Notice neither of us are on there. Huh?
I do. Special shout out.
Yeah. So we'll go through here position by position, the top 3 scorers at each position last week, which I think is always interesting just to see, especially because some of them, like, it's going to be randos sometimes. You get these guys that just go off for crazy performances.
Yep. So
Kirk Cousins in that wild game with Atlanta, 509 yards and 4 tutties. That's just ridiculous. Joe Burrow, who almost helped Jay destroy me with his 400-something yards and 5 touchdowns. And then Lamar, who we already talked about, who went nuclear.
Yeah. Love to see that too.
Those were the top 3. At tight end, we had Tucker Kraft, who Don had filling in for Sam Laporta that was on a bye. Brock Bowers, who Aaron tossed in there. And George Kittle, who helped the Naki get his 5th win of the season.
Love that guy. Kittle is such a beauty.
Oh, Kittle's so
have you seen any of his like media content?
Oh, yeah.
That guy he's unbelievable.
When they went to Mexico last year and he did the wrestling match, what's the name? But
I know. Oh my gosh. Like El Nacho Libre, like that type of match.
Yeah, like that type of stuff. Yeah. He had the mask and went down and like did that, and then he's been in the wrestling. He went to one of the WWE events at one point, and
which brings me to my next question. If our fantasy football league was to have a Mexican wrestle off, who do you think would, if it was like a King of the Ring style match, like who do you think would take it?
That's a good question, man. I don't know. Naki's pretty jacked. I don't know if you've ever actually seen him in person.
Of course he is. This fucking guy.
He's in pretty good shape. Justin's like he's tall and athletic. He's more of a running type, but he's a big dude. He's like, I don't know, probably 6'5" or something.
Jesus.
So I don't know. We might have our hands full, man. I don't think it's gonna be
I would turn around and Don would be like roundhouse kicking me over the ropes. Like gone.
Yeah, Don's feisty, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, my body's so broken.
Yeah. It's not going to be me, you, Jay, Craig, Aaron. I can tell you that much. So.
Okay, running backs, talk to me.
All right. So Tank Bigsby, the backup for Jacksonville, had himself a day thanks to ETN getting a shoulder injury, but he's also looked pretty good. I think I saw Naki grab him off the waivers, so that was a savvy move. DeAndre Swift for the second straight week had a huge game, also on Naki's lineup, part of how he survived. And Rico Dowdle, who I don't even know if he's owned in our league, he had himself a day against the Steelers there in Sunday Night Football.
Yeah.
So that's another intriguing player that he's got the lead back job. And historically, the Cowboys have been a good team. So, I mean, we'll see what happens there. Wideouts, I mean, kind of who we've already covered and talked about. Jamar Chase, we talked about him. And then both the Falcons, man. Darnell Mooney and Drake London come in second and third here from that crazy game.
Is that unusual to have two players like that on the same team?
That high, yeah. I mean, maybe top 10, top 12, but to be number 2 and 3 on the week, that's outrageous.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, that tells you. I mean, Kirk Cousins isn't going to throw for 500 touchdowns and 500 yards and 4 touchdowns every week, so that's not going to happen very often.
Yeah,
but
that's like extraterrestrial.
Still. Oh, yeah. Just insanity, right? That was his career high in yards. Defenses. So Giants were unowned. They had a great week. And then me and Jay had our defenses get exactly the same points, 16 points each, which was pretty crazy. So we had the second and third. Yeah, that was part of what boosted our scores. And after his 16-pointer from Minnesota, I was feeling pretty dicey. But my Broncos came through with a nice little win there. And Patrick Surtain had a 102-yard interception return for a tutty, so that saved me.
How did you become a Broncos fan? Was it you attach yourself to a player, or was that like bred into you from family, or what?
Yeah. Manning,
that was the guy. Yeah. So you started following him, and you're like, "This is my team."
Yeah, I got a Colts jersey with Peyton Manning on it too.
Oh, I get it. Yeah.
So I jumped ship when he jumped ship, and then I didn't want to just bandwagon onto a new team, so I thought, fuck it, I'll stay with the Broncos. And then they've been shit since, but they're on the rise here, maybe with Bo Nix. We'll see.
And Peyton's such a beauty, like as an individual too, right? Like just like fun.
So funny.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Such a gem. Okay. So kickers, my boy Young Hoku finished top. Reichard, who Inaki picked up at the last minute there to support his Vikings, good. And then Fairbairn, who I dropped and Aaron grabbed. So, I mean, it was quite the week for kickers there.
What made you drop him?
He had a bad week the week before, and I was just thinking to myself, you know what? Like, I just don't know how much this offense is going to score points because the Texans just haven't been scoring as many points as they were last year when Stroud was going nuclear the first 2 weeks. And I was like, well, who's an offense that I think could score like a good amount of points this week? And I was like, all right, I'll go with the Falcons. Young Wei-Koo is a good kicker. They got a pretty good matchup against the Bucs. That could be a bit of a high-scoring game. I mean, I never thought it'd be that high-scoring, but I just decided to pivot and kind of got lucky there with how that panned out.
Are you pretty player agnostic? Like you don't get attached to your guys, like you really follow the stats and that's sort of how you're going to make your decisions?
Mostly, yeah. I got a few people that I got a soft spot for. CMC's one of them, but obviously I'm grateful I don't have him this year.
Yeah, but, that's terrible, man. First round pick, man. First overall.
Yeah. Done. No, I got a few that I'm a big Justin Jefferson fan. I knew Inaki was going to take him because he's a Vikings fan, so I knew he'd never get to me. But I like him. I love Kittle. Yeah, there's a few guys that like. There's an emotional piece too, but most of them I'm like, yeah, whoever's gonna win me my week and win me the league, right?
Yeah, fair.
All right, so let's look ahead to this week here as we count down. We're less than an hour before kickoff, so this would be fun to see what we think is going to happen. So I got to take on Kreger this week, which is going to be a challenge. He's got a good team. And he just come off 130-point weeks. I mean, had we played each other last week, he actually would have beat me. So, it's not going to be an easy task by any means. I might be lucky in the sense that I thought I saw on his bench that he had somebody on a bye, maybe not. But I get Amon-Ra St. Brown back off the bye, so that'll help me. So, I mean, I feel pretty good about it, but we've had some doozies in our day, Craig and I too. So it's gonna be a tough one.
Yeah, and that's the one guy you don't want to lose to. Like he's pretty good on the smack talk side as well. Like you gotta watch him, man. Yeah.
Yeah. No, he'll
And
be
then
after
Jay.
me if I get him and Jay. Yeah. And
I
that's
got Jay, which is
that's your
perfect.
opponent this week.
Yeah, that fool.
Yeah. So you get a chance. So I mean, you guys are both kind of coming off a loss, and it's going to be interesting. So
I know we both need this game bad. Like
it's a big
him,
one.
like
yeah,
him to get into play, like to kind of get safer in playoff contention, and me because I want a better. And it's a little early to be talking about playoffs, isn't it?
well,
I do think
yeah,
about it
but who
around like
knows?
this time of the season.
Well, you want to like keep your record at least even, right? You don't want to get into like 2-4, 2-5. Then it starts to feel like you got to make moves and just try to win every game, right?
Yeah, and then you get booted in the first round because you get matched up against a stud team, which happens to me, I guess, annually.
Oh no.
Yeah.
We got another one here, Aaron and Ryan. Hey, Aaron and Ryan. So a couple of teams again that Aaron's going in the wrong direction. Ryan's coming off back-to-back wins, so I mean he could be dangerous.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing Aaron win one. It's just that son of a bitch. He is pretty lovable.
Yeah.
I would like to see one of the Gibson sisters have a nice win, and I don't want it to be Dawn this week because Brody, I'm pulling for you, man. I've been there so many times. Like I want this guy to get a W under his belt.
I know. I feel bad that he hasn't won yet. He's usually pretty good too. Like he's a good fantasy player, knows his stuff.
Yeah.
But it's just injuries, a couple of bad draft picks, and off you go.
I know.
So yeah, Brody and Don, right? But I gotta say, honestly, I think the matchup of the week here, it's got to be Anaki and Justin, man. Couple of heavyweights going at it.
Yeah.
And what makes it even more intriguing is, so Justin's coming off champ of the week for the second time. He's a 4-1 team, and Anaki just got fucking hammered with bye weeks. So no Justin Jefferson, top receiver. No Kyron Williams, top running back. No Aaron Jones, second best running back. No Will Reichard, loses his kicker. So like just an absolute like disaster in terms of bye weeks, hitting at the wrong time for him to have to take on Justin.
Yeah, and like the winner of this game means so much, right? Like Justin could essentially tie with Anaki on record. Like,
and if I double check points, if we take a look,
who has more points right now?
That's why I was just going to take a look and see. Points for. Yeah, no, Justin has currently 53 more points than Anaki. So if he won, he would move into second place, right?
Yeah, let's go, Justin. Anaki, you can't have it all, bro.
Man, I gotta watch because Justin's only 17 points less than me. So if I don't beat Craig and Justin wins, he's got a shot to go all the way up into first place, right?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's this is a big week. I'm pumped on it.
It is.
Screw you, Craig.
And we get started here, shortly with about 40 minutes or so with 49ers and Seahawks, which should be a fun game to kick things off.
Yeah, I'll throw that on a little bit. I'll probably watch in the Leaf game too, if I'm honest. I'll have that going back and forth. Hoping that we have a big season. Yeah, are you a Leaf fan?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, not a boy.
Sadly.
Good man. It's not easy to be a boundless optimist.
No, it's not. All right. Well,
partner, that's awesome.
We'll get her done for this week, but Cash, if you're interested, we'll get you back on here another week, and the offer extends to everyone. So until next time, thanks for joining.
Yeah, everyone's got to take their turn. I nominate Anaki next. He should go.
All right. We'll shout him out. All right. Stick around for a sec. I'm going to end the recording.
Thank you for everything.
All right. Clear eyes, full heart, can't lose.
Can't lose.